We were there from the beginning when it was just dirt. We purchased all those properties and then to where it is today. So I love driving down and seeing this evolution of this campus because I was part of that.
That was Kevin Burton from Klein DeNatale Goldner, but he's not really just from Klein DeNatale Goldner. Kevin is really from the community of Bakersfield. This episode, we really talk about his community involvement all of these years and all the different things he's had his hands into. It's going to be a great episode. On today's show, we discuss community involvement, season opportunities, and later in the show, we talk about effective boards. And be sure to stay tuned to hear Kevin talk about the most important advice he's ever received.
Welcome back to the Our 2 Cents podcast, the show where your local professionals sit down with an array of guests to hear their story and impart some wisdom for both business and life-improving skills. This is your place to hear business and community leaders discuss relevant topics that matter to you.
And welcome to the show today. My name is Dave Flewich, and I'm here with John Slicker Jr. He's co-hosting with me today, and we are interviewing one of our really good friends, Mr. Kevin Burton. So we're going to talk to you a lot about what Kevin does. Before we get into today's episode, I would like to encourage our listeners to follow us on social media, all the different platforms, and it's a great way to stay up to date with our new releases and giveaways that we also do. Kevin, we are very happy to have you join us today. Thank you for being here.
I'm excited. Thanks, guys. I mean, this is the Three Musketeers, the Three Stooges. What else could I do? The Three Amigos.
Well, and you didn't know that he was going to be on.
I did not know that. The Slicker. I saw Slicker walk. I go, my gosh, where's this going to go?
That was a last minute change because I didn't think he was going to be off work today, and it's like,
no,
dude, this would be perfect to have.
You're right. I haven't seen him in such a long time. He's out there flying around, you know, in his cockpit, zooming around. Zoom.
I do prefer the Three Amigos, though. The uniforms and the big hats.
I do. I did post that many times on Friday, sent it out to people.
Yeah,
Three Amigos. It's so great.
Oh Lordy, Kevin. I'm looking at your bio here. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about your bio, but out of everybody I think we've ever interviewed there's never been that many bullet points of all the different things, which is one of the other reasons why I wanted you here, because I know you're extremely involved in the community. It says in your bio that you've been over 30 years in community service. So that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, where'd you grow up? Did you grow up here?
So both my parents were bankers. Okay. Born in Fresno. I have an identical twin brother, Brent, and we lived in Fresno. My dad was transferred to Reedley. And that's where my brother Chad was born, and then he was transferred to Merced. My sister Kimberly was born there, and then he was transferred to Porterville. We lived there for a little bit, and then he was transferred here to Bakersfield with B of A. And back in those times, in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, if you were moving up as an executive for B of A, you got transferred every 2 to 4 years. So we lived in all these different cities. Moved here in 85, went to high school here, started at North High as our freshman and graduated there, went off to Bakersfield College. Both my brother and I were both also in EMS. And so we got our EMT license, Brent in 90 and myself in 91, started at Golden Empire, worked as and then we both went to medic school, so we were medics, and then we became Reserve City Firefighters. So I did 18 years, was a Bakersfield City Firefighter Reserve. Worked at a variety of different stations here in Bakersfield.
Yes, Chad?
I did, and then my brother Brent did 20 years. My brother Chad's a fire captain for City Fire. He works at 8s out by Bakersfield College.
Just kicking me.
So what does Chad do?
So my brother Chad is a fire captain. He works out at Station 8 by Bakersfield College. And then my sister Kimberly is a vice president for a company called Squire that's out of Singapore. And they own a variety of different companies, multi-billion-dollar company. What she runs the Coca-Cola distribution and bottling companies for her on the Western United States. So she has about 13 states that she runs. She's out of Salt Lake City. She's the youngest one.
Oh, wow.
She's overachiever.
Yeah, a little bit. Huh? Did she race cars or something? I'm thinking somebody else.
She might have wrecked cars. Woman driver.
Well, talk a little bit more about your background here. So, Harvey Hall, what was your involvement with Hall Ambulance and Harvey Hall?
So, as a paramedic, I left Golden Empire. Brent and I both worked for Golden Empire Ambulance. And Brent, in May of 97, started with Harvey Hall. And I was out at Shafter Ambulance at that point in time, working for Gerald Schaefer at Shafter Ambulance since 1963. And I had told Brent, I think I want to come out and, try out Hall Ambulance and, try to see where all this evolves and what we're going to do in the marketing side and public relations. And so I went over, became an automatic trainer for new employees. My first month I was there in October of 97. And then Harvey Hall had asked Brent and I to come into his office and said, hey, boys, I'd love to see if you on your days off could work in marketing public relations for me and just go out to the convalescent hospitals, go to the ERs. We know everybody because we ran calls all these places. They know us anyways because we were dual medic twins. We did work on a rig together for 6 months. So we went out on our days off and started working with him. And then during this time period, sit down with Gene Tackett, started looking at, hey, you know, run for mayor. And so we put together this great marketing plan and campaign plan, and we then ran for mayor of Bakersfield in 2000. We had the March primary. We had 11 candidates. 11 candidates. No one can say they've had 11 candidates run for mayor in the city of Bakersfield or even any other city, even Fresno. At that time, Autry was the mayor then, and there was maybe 4 or 5 candidates. We had 11 candidates. We won the primary with 50% plus 1 vote. We won. We worked hard. Brent and I and Harvey Hall, the late Harvey Hall, God rest his soul, we went out Fridays, Saturdays, sometimes even on Sundays, just us 3, putting up 4x8 signs on prime locations. Brent and I did the 2-man auger, and Harvey Hall literally did the postal digging.
Really?
He would pull the dirt up, and it was fun. It was just 3 in a truck.
But how did you go from being an EMT paramedic and jumping into that part of it? I mean, you know, is that something you had a desire to do, or just had a natural knack for? Or? We just had that. We kind of had that connection with the community, and Brent and I were so involved anyway already with the city fire, being a reserve, and having a variety of different connections. But then that also, he opened up the door to allow us to get involved with the Bakersfield Chamber back then, to get involved with boards. My first big board I was asked to sit on, Harvey Hall wanted one of us to sit on, was the American Heart Association. The late Tom Phillips, Daniels Phillips Von Bach accounting firm. Tom Phillips was the chairman back then. And I guess when I got to know you, and I ended up being on that board.
Yeah, it was a blast. And we used to meet over at their CPA firm, and from there it just grew. And he allowed us to take it to that next level and open those doors for us, and it was up to us to produce. And at that time, then I was offered some amazing positions, one at Young Wooldridge at the time. Also, I had the same opportunity to go to Bakersfield Family Medical Center as their director of marketing, and Bruce Peters, who was then the CEO of the Heart Hospital, who just opened up, had an opening. He wanted me to be his new director of public relations marketing, but I wanted out of medicine. I wanted out of EMS, and so I went over to YW. And I was there for 10 years. And during that time period, they're still reaping benefits today because I was able to tie into all these group legal services that Milt Younger, late God rest his soul, that had kind of the angle on all the group legal services with the credit unions, and I was able to go straight in there within 2 years, study him, and go in and take several away from their firm, and then tie in with them with Kern Schools at the time. Now, Valley Strong. And then during that time frame, you know, as you produce and you show what you're worth out in the community, you asked to sit on more boards. And so I was asked to sit on several more boards. 2002, my daughter Avery was going to be a kindergartner, and at the time, then Rick Brower was on the school board at Fruitville School District Board of Trustees, and he said, hey, let's have lunch. We went to the old Bell Terra Club there on Truxton, and we had lunch, and he said, hey, are you interested in becoming a trustee for Fruitville? And I said, I don't know what a trustee is. So I started going to meetings, and then I ran and was elected as a school board trustee in 2002, and I was there from 2002 to 2010, did 8 years on the school board. But during that time period, I was also asked to sit on the founding board for the Foundation for San Joaquin Community Hospital. And at that time, we were noticing that, you know, we're sending about 70 patients, the county was, out to the Grossman Burn Center down then in Sherman Oaks facility. And then the late Richard Grossman, God rest his soul, phenomenal guy. He taught my advanced burn life support, ABLS, back in 1991 when I went to ABLS class down in Sherman Oaks. He came up and said, hey, we're looking at expanding. You guys are holding about 70 patients down here. Let's put together a burn center. We want to expand. So then Fire Chief Ron Fraze, the Bakersfield City Fire Chief, he and I were co-chairs. We campaigned to bring in the Grossman Burn Center campaign and brought in about $1.9 million. We had the ERA outpatient, outpatient burn clinic. We had the Occidental then, Susie Geiger gave us $250,000. We still in the ER waiting room. It's still named after that. Was one of our projects. We started the Chevron Fund, which was then for children who have burns. A majority of the survivors, and they're not burn victims, they're burn survivors because they're survivors of burn. So during that time period, majority of them were children, and unfortunately, a lot of them are coming from a very low economic area, no insurance. So, we knew we weren't going to make any money during the burn centers. There's the guys probably still not making money over at Memorial. It's tough, but it's nice that we still have a phenomenal center still here. And then during that time period, I'd play golf with then Bob Beeler, the CEO at Adventist Health, and they're at Venice. So sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday, it's church and family, and we'd play golf at Seven Oaks on Sundays. And this one Sunday back in October of 2009, he said, "Hey, you ever interested in becoming the first president of the foundation? We would like to make a president of the foundation." And so I said, "Well, let's talk." And so we spoke for about 3 or 4 months, put together a great package deal, and I left in April of 2010. I became the first president for the foundation at then San Joaquin Community Hospital. And at that time, they were looking at expanding from an acute hospital setting to going into. Then we purchased Quest Imaging in December of 2010, and we wanted to bring in a state-of-the-art cancer center. And so that was my biggest project, and we raised millions and millions of dollars for this facility. And then the late Wendy Wayne, God rest her soul, Mother Teresa of Bakersfield, we hired her as a consultant because she had gone and fought cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma at the City of Hope, and we brought her as a consultant. And we went to a variety of different cancer centers. She interviewed patients who were dying of cancer, patients who were going through or had gone through, and what was missing. What would have made it a little bit more of an experience? You already know what you're there for. It's depressing. Yeah. You have the C word. It's horrible. But how can we make it better for you and your family? And so one of the cancer centers we went to, and it was several of them we went to all over the nation. The one we kept going to was the Roy and Patricia Disney Cancer Center, Providence Medical Center in Burbank, California. And their second floor, Disney is all about experience, and their second floor for chemotherapy was an experience. You didn't have these curtains. You didn't have these big TVs in your front of your face. It had these soju walls with the bamboo and the plastic, and they had iPads so you could get on the radio, you could do movies, or you could just relax. We had these beautiful recliners. There was a visual, and then also they had what they call ambient experience. And when you went in to have a scan done before you go into radiation, you're in this room for about an hour getting scanned. Well, their ambient experiences from Philips lighting, you don't have control as a cancer patient. You come in and they tell you what to do. Here, you have control of where you want to go. There's a screen on the wall, and you punch in, I want to be in the Bahamas, and here's this visual of this ocean, and the water's running, and there's fish. There's one, Yosemite, there's waterfalls, and it's on both sides of the wall and on the ceiling when you're laying down. And you get to change the ambient lighting. You can go to blue, pink, yellow. So you have this kind of soothing, relaxing, because you are there. Same thing in the radiation oncology floor where you're going in to have radiation, which in these new linear accelerators, it's more prep time than anything. But when you have radiations, you're done within 5 minutes. But there you get to change the lighting. So you can kind of control your own experience through that. This ambient experience. So during this whole process was amazing. I loved it. It was our first $2 million gift from AIS. It was our first $1 million gift. It was our, we met so many great families in Bakersfield that had to travel outside. And back then we had CBCC or you had to go out. And here you had a second choice. Sure. CBCC's doing a phenomenal job. Great doctors, good people over there, and you couldn't thank them enough for starting Dr. Pill starting this, now probably 33 years ago. But here you had a hospital-based cancer center, which was now on a campus, and that's what you're seeing more and more of throughout the nation is these campus styles. So when you go to the cancer center and you need to go to the hospital, you go straight across the street. So you're on the same campus, you got the same doctors. And so it does make a big difference. And then at that same time, we interviewed and we brought Dr. Haney over. And Dr. Haney's the breast oncologist, surgical oncologist, and she came over. We started the Quest Imaging, built that new building there just adjacent to the AIS Cancer Center, and we started the breast center. And the first time she came in, we knew the breast center was too small. It needed to be expanded. And so now it looks like they're going to be expanded to the second floor. But at the same time, during this time frame, about 2016, 17, we wanted to expand the cardiac center. And so during this time, we started going out and meeting and figuring out we're going to expand the cardiac center. So that was my newest campaign. And the late Momo GB, God rest his soul, loved that guy dearly. He gave so much to this community. He was so caring and just a gentle man. I remember Darius and I went out and met with him, and at lunch at Eureka's, and because Darius was on my board at that time at the hospital, and I said, "What do you think your dad would be willing to give? We want to expand this, maybe $1.5 million, so we can get something going, and name this after Willa, the wife at the time." Well, and so we went through, and I sat down with Mo and Darius, and we're at Eureka's, and Mo's all right. What do you need? What's going on? So I said, well, Mo, we're looking at expanding this cardiac center and want to know if you'd be interested in giving a $1.5 million to name the facility. And as a philanthropist, as a philanthropy guy that has gone through this for the last several years on big numbers, asking big dollars, you just shut your mouth. Mm-hmm. Don't say nothing. Don't wink. Just let them do what they want to do. Sometimes they'll walk away. Sometimes they'll slam their hands. Sometimes they'll throw something. Sometimes they'll say, hey, it's a little too much. Do you have something lower? Or, Mo says, sure, I'll get $750,000, and my partner, Ken Fate, he'll give the same thing. Hell, I should have asked for $5 million. But it's those, it's guys like him. It's guys like, the Brad Peters that we named the oncology floor after him and the family. And I still have a picture of Brad Peters with his late parents, just wonderful people. And his sisters and Liz and the boys were all up there. We have this beautiful picture I still have on my phone, and they named the oncology floor. We have Kelly and Lori Newby that gave a significant gift, and we named it after their boy Ryan that passed away at a very young age. We named the Ryan Outpatient Surgery Center up on the 4th floor at the AIS Cancer Center. That'll always be there. And there's a story that talks about him. He was a big Condors fan. Yeah. And it's so when I go around, I see the different rooms that are still there and the namings. We were all part of that. The breast center has a Bakersfield West Rotary. We have a Bakersfield West Rotary, and this is when Jackie was there. We have a Bakersfield West Rotary plaque right there above the coffee pot, big, beautiful bronze plaque that's there. And just being able to see, I can still reminisce on those great days when we put that last beam up at the cancer center. You have a big ceremony, and you got to put it's a redwood. You have a small redwood, and everybody's got to sign it. So we had it over at Eagleson's. Okay. We bought that piece of property just adjacent, right behind Kaiser building there on Chester, and was at 26th Street. And we'd go over there, and all of us signed it. And I signed it, Elaine Brown, which was my grandma Brown that passed away of colorectal cancer. And so I put her name on it, I love you. And we did this big press conference, and I'm up there speaking about this whole thing. And they're putting the beam up there, and that's the cancer center. That was the last beam. And, so we were there from the beginning when it was just dirt. We purchased all those properties, and then to where it is today. So I love driving down and seeing this evolution of this campus because I was part of that, and I still today love going through it. And I love seeing the signs, but then from all this, it's being part of this community and giving back. I was on the founding board of the Keep Bakersfield Beautiful, and David Couch at the time was a brand new city council member, brought me on board, and that's when I was still working for Harvey Hall. And we brought the Great America Cleanup. It's still going on today. I had a great board, John Enriquez and Kathy Guerrero. Oh my gosh, Karcher. I'm drawing a blank of her first name, but she ran the Kern County Tree Foundation here. She was on our board, and we all started in 2000. And I was on that for about 6 or 7 years, and it was great. We went out and picked trash, and it was something new. We didn't really see this, but that was a really kind of big shift with Harvey Hall wanting to start this big thing, because the group that started it was a Keep Bakersfield. It was a Bakersfield leadership Bakersfield program out of 2000. That was then the late LaCosta Haley, who's retired and he's passed away, God bless him. But LaCosta Haley that worked for Kern County Fire, Jackie Sullivan, Steve Torgiani. They were all on this that brought it to the city council, and they started this because they had California.
So you did do Leadership Bakersfield. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, Leadership Bakersfield was 2001.
I think I did 2003 or something, a couple years ago.
We're old.
That's a great program.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great program. I still today, talk to the
Highly
folks,
recommend
and it was great. It was a great program and met a lot of great people, and you were exposed to some other areas of business you don't really get to see in your regular day life.
And other up-and-coming community leaders. I mean, I still have connections with all those people that were in my graduating class.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a fun time. Jim Darling was in it, and Lily Marsh, and Michelle Shane, and, oh, gosh, Baharus Fatahi from ERA. It was I still we still see Jim Darling and those guys here, and Lily Marsh was part of it. I still see Michelle Shane. She sits on the board, Cap K. Yeah. So now I'm sitting on the Cap K Foundation board. I'm chair there.
That's one of my next questions. How many boards do you sit on, bud?
So
can you really keep count?
So Rotary, obviously, Bakersfield West Rotary. I have been the last 2.5 years as the chairman for the Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation. Okay. And we give out grants. In fact, today we just approved $30,150 for spring grants. That's going out to a bunch of not-for-profits. We're really excited. We're giving them about $60,000 a year. So we do spring and fall, but also Cap K. So we started up the foundation right during COVID time. It just happened. Boom, here's COVID. So didn't get a lot done during that time period, but we were still able to go out because we're expanding the food bank at the Cap K, and we expanded it 60,000 square feet. We're able to grab all these dollars from the state and federal and philanthropy dollars of about $14 million. So this expansion, we will be completed and open sometime this fall. So that's 60,000. And we serve so much all over. I mean, this is the food bank for Kern County. Yeah. I also sit on the Bakersfield ARC board, and then I'm on Kern Tax. I've been on Kern Tax for the last 13 years, and I'm past chairman. It's a 3-year term, so this is my year that I'm no longer chairman. Thank you, Lord. God bless Mike Turnipseed. He's smart. He's one of the Gambinos of Bakersfield. You can run for office. You talk to Michael. Oh, yeah. I got to keep him on a short leash, the Bulldog. But Tim Russian has took over as chairman, and very excited for that. I do help with the CTAC. Firefighting is still, very passionate about firefighting and paramedicine and making sure that, we provide the great services that we can and expand into the fire department. I wish we had more paramedics in city and fire. I wish we ran like county fire, LA County Fire does, and have the squads and put more ambulances out there that are EMTs and put medics on squads. But that's going to happen later on. With my twin brother, Brent, has been a medic for 27 years. He teaches the EMT course at BC. He's Kern County Sheriff. He works in rural crimes. He works as a deputy coroner. He works as a bailiff. He's doing background checks. So I call him the EMS junkie. He is a junkie. Even the deputies, I saw him yesterday when I was at the county supervisor board meeting with Jeremy Tobias, the current CEO of Cap K, to receive just a proclamation for this month. And I was there from the board, and all the deputies are all, "Hey, you're not." I said, "Are you serious? There's two of you?" I go, "Yeah, I'm his twin brother." Oh, my gosh. I was wondering why you didn't recognize me, or I thought maybe you shaved your mustache. I said, "Well, Brent's got that Bart the Mall Cop mustache,
Well, so that brings me to a question, because I counted 4 things you're part of on the board, or on 4 different boards currently, though. But so I'm newly starting out, so I think there's a lot of people newly starting out. They're wondering probably, how do you keep your work-life balance to where you could do all these things, but then wrap in family and friends? How do you do that?
And that's probably one of the things I probably wasn't the best at during my last 25, 26 years, because I think I allowed my growth of my personal growth and business growth and relationship growth to probably overtake the family side. So it's nice having the wife there who is completely dedicated and she really, raised the girls. I probably could have been there a lot more, but I was in charge and during my reign and during my reign today, it's I'm out in the community. We sponsor events and I've been belong to all these different organizations, and And it's, you got to balance it. And I do, one of my things that I've been doing for a long time is just taking a nap on the weekends to rejuvenate my battery. I gotta have a little relax. But I go 24/7, 3:00 in the morning. I can be posting or sending out emails because my mind doesn't stop.
You're everywhere.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. I think if you're starting out, it's really trying to find your passion, what you really desire. I do the same thing at the firm here at Klein DeNatale Goldner. I tell the younger kids, the new associates, I said, find what your passion is, what you want to be. Because remember, you're going to work a lot of hours. You got to put your time in. But if you want to be the attorney that you see as the equity partners we have today, they didn't just sit here. They're not status quo. You got to put the time in. And so I say, find that passion, balance it, but still have that life where you can relax and enjoy. Our kind of, Dave, you and I, our generation is go, 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 go. And we see these guys, they don't know when to stop, Sure. And just like I see attorneys they'll work 70 and they're well into their 80s. God rest, Tony Klein at the firm. He worked till he was, 82, 84 years old, and unfortunately he passed away. But that's that generation that we was our parents, and so we learned from that. It's just like you, John. I call you. I know you're in your office because I can hear the. He's in the plane.
Well, and I'm glad John brought that up because that is one of the things topics I wanted to discuss with you today too. I know when I got into business, I started my own business, one of the things that I was told to do was get involved in the community. That's a great way to meet other people in the community, community leaders. I started out in Kiwanis, and I made my way over to 2030 Club and then eventually Rotary. But I remember years ago, Steve Starbuck was like, we were having a long discussion about this because he was on a lot of boards. And I was starting to get on, I think, too many boards. And he said, just watch how many, because if you're just a name on a letterhead with this one organization, is that the really best use of your time? If you've got that time, it's okay to be that name on that letterhead. But for me, I didn't want to just do that. But also, you got to be effective. If you're going to commit to something, be effective.
That's right.
And
be a doer.
I think also, and John knows, I learned to look at boards and go, what kind of board do they got? Are they decision makers or are they committee members? Because that's a big difference too. You need that board to be that 10,000 foot view level, and then getting down the weeds. That's what committees are for. So that's one way that I can sit on multiple boards because I'm sitting on very effective boards. So I'm not having to get down into the weeds on those. But I think it is important for up and comers to go out and get involved like that. I'm not saying jump on a board right away, but volunteer for that organization. Work your way, learn how to be on a board, because you get yourself around those people, they're going to educate you, especially if they see that you've got the drive and passion and you want to know more. Nobody really started knowing everything, right?
No. Well, and we know it is Bakersfield, Kern County is all about relationships. And so you're getting on this. It's not just because of the passion you have, but it's also the networking abilities you can. And some boards are better than other boards. And you'll learn that as you're young, like we were. You're not going to jump on these major big boards all at once because you don't have the relationships. And you got to be a doer. You're right. You can't just be a name on. Are you just a name to build your resume? Or are you there to do the project and to raise money or do what is necessary to
me, it's like an
build.
Exchange. You're helping benefit that nonprofit, but then you're also educating yourself and learning stuff. So it's kind of win-win for both parties. So
that's right. And I don't like that. I don't like people sitting on boards that aren't going to be doers. And we wouldn't continue to be able to be asked to sit on boards or be at the levels we are today if we were just status quo. Yeah. And I think the issues today we see is the younger generation, you're not seeing as active as our groups are. And so I love being able to educate the younger generation and say, guys, you are the hope. You are the future. We need you to step into these roles because we're going to be here for another, 20, 25 years helping out. But after that, we need these generation to take on our roles because we do. We have a lot of we're a very giving community. We give, millions and millions, raise millions and millions and millions of dollars here. If you add the churches in, you're looking at billions of dollars. But so many charities. Look what Big Kern last week. Big Kern, almost $1 million they raised in one day. You guys, almost $1 million in one day. I always say, and I've told the guys at the firm, when you get involved, you got to take the time. We'll help sponsor, but you've got to be there. You've got to be there. In the weekends, it happens. You can be out there. But get your family involved. And that's what I did. I brought the girls when they were babies. They all know about picking up trash. They know about going and walking through the heart walks or the heart and stroke walks. They know about coming out and supporting at the functions now and sitting and raising money for CASA or for JJ's Legacy. You want that because instilling them, hopefully they're going to instill then in their families and to their friends and get them involved. It is nice to be able to work for an organization that I've been able to the last 25 years or where I've been in my chapters, still being able to give and be part of that. It's not my money, it's the firm's money, but it's the firm being involved and supporting these not-for-profits. Same thing when I was at the hospital. Same thing when I was at YW. Same thing with Harvey Hall. We gave a lot of money.
Well, you're such a good conduit for it because they want to give back, but they don't know who and how much and who needs the help. Right. And you have all those relationships and connections. So.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to be one. You guys are still on for the cow plop.
Yeah, I need to RSVP me.
Yeah, and Dave, we got the cow plop. Yeah, Saturday. It's the Kern County. Why am I drawing a blank? My goodness, it's the Kern County posse. County Posse.
Sheriff's Posse.
Sheriff Posse. Yeah. And it's going to be fun, you guys. Not that it's going to be 96 degrees, but it's going to be a great, actually it's supposed to be cooler. It's supposed to be in the 80s, so it'll be nice. And we're going to be at a ranch over there from, oh boy, the cow plop. They're going to have all these numbers out there in the field, you guys. You're going to have a cow's going to go around and you're going to see.
One? I went to
I've never been to one.
Frontier did one time when I went out there.
I did hear that sometimes the cow doesn't plop.
I was told that. I heard sometimes they don't plop.
they feed him a special pie, and it makes him like plop everywhere. If you know what I'm saying.
Daniel, you're going to have to come with us. You're going to have to come out. Sarah, you can join us. You got to come out and join us. It's going to be a fun day.
So you're on 4 boards. How many times being on a board? Because you don't want a lot of people that just say yes all the time, right? So you need conflict. You need conflicting opinions. Do you find that fosters growth, and is that healthy for a board to have conflicting different opinions? And
I can help answer that one. I know he can help answer that. And you want a board that is especially if you're a president, you want a board that kind of is on the same page with you. There's ones out there that will be the devil's advocate in conflict. But unless they got solutions, I want problems. I want, if you think this is wrong or you think this can be done better, what's your solution for that? Because there's plenty of ones that will go, no. It's like, all right, you just say no just for the hell of saying no. But you never have a solution or value-added input. But,
I can say probably 2 of my biggest boards that have had that kind of big dialogue was obviously when I was at San Joaquin Community Hospital, now Adventist Health Bakersfield. That board, big business guys, big corporations. When we were looking at moving forward on the campaign or shuffling monies to put in utilizing certain funds we had for certain projects, there's a lot of dialogue because you're dealing with major big businessmen, CEOs, big vice presidents of big companies. And it was great dialogue. And now we all didn't come together. It happened. It does. Ruffle some feathers. Kern tax. I love Kern tax because it's our watchdog for taxes. And all of them, the largest companies in Kern County sit on this board. And there was some dialogue that goes on, which I love. And sometimes you ruffle feathers. It happens. But it's all about getting the job done. And San Joaquin, when I was there, was making sure we were doing the right thing for the community. What is the priority right now? How is this going to benefit the community? And what's the main priorities for the hospital? Now, their priorities might be here, but our priorities are over here because their priorities, there's no way you're going to raise money for, for an area that does people give to children, animals. Cancer is really big. Yeah. And then, sometimes, we'll go into like cardiac in that area. But when we're out looking for the dollars, you yourself, and this is one of the things too, you guys, and I know, Dave, you've seen this, when you're on a philanthropy board and you're going to start a campaign, I don't care who it's with, CAPK, whoever it is, you yourself have to give, the executives down and the board. Because when I would go out to donors and ask them, would you be interested in, a gift of such and such? Well, what's the percentage rate of the board? Who else gave? Because if we don't believe in the project, then why would they believe in the project? So that was the first thing I would do when I was going to start a campaign, was I went to the executives, myself had to give. We gave $10,000 ourselves over a 3-year period to the cancer center. It's a lot of money. Yeah. But I didn't have kids that were driving yet.
Sure.
Then you went to the board, governing boards and the foundation board. I need 100% given. And I mean, $5,000, $10,000 they would give. But as long as you gave, it allowed me then to go out there to the community to say, hey, we believe in this project. We're 100% in, and it does make a difference. Just like our foundation, our boards we belong to here, you're not going to give the 5 or 10. It's usually get or give. And so get or give, we say it's $5,000 a year. You got to get or give. Well, we can go out and get sponsorships for $5,000 over a year. We get $1,000 here, $2,500 here, $2,500 here, whatever it is. That's what we do as a board. And we know we can rely. But the problem is, too, you guys, on philanthropy, when they're out there looking, sometimes you're going to the same bucket.
Oh, yeah.
That bucket starts to, and that's tough. But seeing new companies come in, see the growth here, they get involved. And so you do have this, and it's, again, you're competing with so many other organizations, but going back to that, it's you're going to have that dialogue with those boards, and it's you're going to ruffle some feathers. But you know what? When we finish, we know it's the best thing.
I've also sat on boards where I had somebody terming out, and they're going, "Hey, I'll sign up for another few years," and I'm, "Thank you for your service," but because they really didn't contribute a whole lot, or I needed somebody in that position with a certain expertise that the board needed. And so when a vacancy came out, I'm like, I really need this knowledge or this skill brought in and made a bigger difference.
What I would do sometimes on this is I'd say, we want to start an advisory board, an advisory committee for the board. Would you be interested? I'd love to. You betcha. Let's get you on the advisory committee. Yeah. But guys, it has. It's been a great chapter. It's amazing. I'm 52 years old, and I look back at all these years we all started and everything that we've gone through, and people have gone before us that have all made significant contributed to this community where it is today. You look at the forefathers. I think of them, the Jim Burks and the Ray Decembers and the Harvey Halls that have given so much and have given us the opportunity. It's like Gene Voylan, so he's getting so much for this, and us being able to go through this and us take on those roles because we've learned from so many great people. And here we are, continuing to still go. We just get a little grayer, and you guys got. Well, you got better. I'm sorry, John.
But I've got the grayest hair of them all.
You got the grayest because you don't color.
Well, I just lose it.
I don't color.
I just lose it.
So I'm going to wrap this up. But so you've been with KDG since January 2018.
Yeah.
You help public relations with the firm and getting them out there, but I also see one of the other things is you're real good about making sure that family atmosphere is really effective. You guys put on a lot of events for the staff and their families, and that's huge. And then big milestone this year. What's going on?
70 years, yeah. So 1953, it was started by Mr. DiGiorgio. That was the attorney back in those days. And then in 64, 65, Tony Klein came on, and where we're at today, obviously Klein DeNatale Goldner. Prior to that was Klein DeNatale Goldner, Cooper, Rosenlieb, Kimball. You'll still see that name. It's still in our letters. But, we have a big celebration for the whole firm itself, our offices from Bakersfield, Fresno, Montecito, Santa Barbara, and then Encinitas out of San Diego. We're all going to come together up here, and all the families, and we're going to have a big get together in August. I'd love to have a reception, for our clients and friends to come in, probably sometime in the fall. I'm pushing for, and just celebrate all the years. We're at almost 40 attorneys right now in the firm itself, all 4 offices. Staff, again, we do so much. We're only as good
as your people.
And they're the ones in the trenches that make all of us look so good and do a lot of work. So we love, like last Friday, we had the Cinco de Mayo event. We do Halloween, Christmas events. We have, we'll just do little things on a Friday, just say thank you. And we just had a wine event. We had 2 limousine buses out to Paso Robles and had about 35 or 40 people go. It was great. And the firm has changed so much with different areas. We're continuously increasing. We have a great clerk program, and we have for the number of years. We bring a lot of folks. We interview law clerks, students, and they're right before they finish, right before they go into their L2, their R2L, their second year of law school, all over the United States, and bring them in to the firm right after their 2L. And in fact, we got 5 right now coming in May 30th. That'll be coming in. We just had 3 pass the bar last Friday, got the results, 3 passed, and we just hired another attorney that's going to be out of Ventura. So we have 12 attorneys right now out of our Montecito, Santa Barbara office right now, 12. But what's great is we all know during COVID, what happens? Zoom. It's great. Yeah. So we have people from all over now. So we have attorneys in Oregon. We have attorneys in Salt Lake, not Salt Lake City, but Idaho. We have staff that lives in Tennessee, in Florida. We have attorneys out of Los Angeles that work full-time for us the last 2, 3, 4 years. So it's nice having that, and so you get a really vast, knowledge of phenomenal attorneys. In fact, one of them we just brought on about a year and a half ago, flies from Sacramento down to Bakersfield, and he looks like he's gonna start up an aviation area of the firm. For aviation,
I think we've been talking about him.
About that. So excited about that. But it is. It's great to see this. 70 years. Here's a firm that's been around for a company that's been around for 70 years, still here producing and still have staff. Like look at the other attorneys, Bear Goldner and Jay Rosen. These guys have been there for 30 years. We have Barbara. I think Barbara's been there since 1970.
Wow.
So we have a lot of people who've been here a long time. A lot of employees been there 10, 15, 20 years. And it's just good to see the longevity and having myself here looking at what the future holds at the firm, seeing this younger generation coming in. We have some younger partners now. We have a couple younger equity partners. So we see the growth. And so we know it's going in the right direction. And we're seeing this diversity amongst the firm. And you're seeing it in other firms as well. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward for this year. I'm looking forward to fall. I'm not looking forward to summer right now. I'm not looking forward to the water coming through the river. But it is kind of nice having that water on the north side of the firm right now that's coming through. It's not a desert look. Yeah, I'm looking forward to us guys all getting together and spending some time together.
You guys won't see a lot of me because with all that water, there's a lot of bugs that need to be controlled.
Well, I think you should.
I'll be in my office a lot.
Well, I think you just need to have some kind of built-in Zoom so we can watch you fly as we have a good time, and this is for you, man. We love you. This is for you.
We'll just put Danger Zone in the background while you guys watch me fly.
add more cameras. Need more cameras. That thing.
Maverick, baby, Maverick. I did say one time. I said, it's my goose boy. No, you don't say goose. It's Maverick. It's Maverick. Oh,
you don't call a pilot flying goose because that's not going to be good.
No, that is
not.
No,
it's
good.
not. It's not.
All right. We're going to end this with we do 3 rapid fire questions here. I'm going to ask 2 of them, and John's going to ask 1 of them. Who was your biggest mentor?
Probably 2.
Okay.
My father, love him to death, hardworking, dedicated, pushed us, and then Harvey Hall. Harvey Hall allowed those doors to open up in the beginning of I was 28 years old, and allowing us to he opened those doors and said, go, do it. Yeah. So I will always have that respect for Harvey Hall and my dad. Those are the 2 that really allowed me during that time period where I was here.
Sure.
And I was able to elevate it. But it's up to you.
Yeah. He opened the door, gave you the opportunity.
That's right. Here's your wings.
You've done great, brother.
All right, I'll go next. Go ahead. What is something nobody knows about you?
So I'm a big collector of Abe Lincoln. I love collecting Abraham Lincoln. And I have a phenomenal collection of Abe Lincoln.
But wait, I know that about you.
Well, I knew that, but everybody else didn't know.
Oh, okay.
That was our secret.
But I did. I asked nobody.
Well, okay.
I have a triplet.
No. Oh. Really? Okay, now I don't know that about you.
It's attached.
It's right here. It thinks.
Okay, we should go back to Abe Lincoln. That's safer.
Go
back to the Abe Lincoln.
Let's go back.
I do, and I knew you guys did that. Yeah, I love my Abe Lincoln. My dad is a major collector. My dad's been collected for years, especially trains. He's a habitual collector of trains, especially LGB trains, and I have that same passion as he does. But mine is history, and I collect Union memorabilia. Stuff, and I collect Abe Lincoln. Majority of my stuff is Abe Lincoln.
What's the coolest Abe Lincoln thing you got, dude?
Probably a...
Do you have the bullet? What? That's a good question.
It is an excellent question.
My name is Brent Burton. Another Brent Burton. Come on. So, probably one of the coolest things, you guys, I have a
so
few
John,
of these,
that means no to the bullet.
but it's a damn it, I wish I had it. It's a 10 photo of Abe Lincoln from April 10th, 1865, before he was killed.
Oh wow.
And there was about 62 or 63 people bidding on this.
Wow.
And I wanted it. And I'm telling you, when you get the itch, it's horrible. And my body goes into freaking craziness, man. I want this. I don't care. And I will put money at the highest level if I got to sell my soul, baby. This picture is amazing. It's only about, it's only 3 by 4, but the history of it, the book, all the memorabilia, everything that's in the history books, it shows this. It's breathtaking. And you're looking, this is him. It's him. And you look at this, and you could see all the elements of this, and it's just so surreal.
I got to see that.
And I need to have, and then all my books, I've got these, I got these books from the 1861 through 66. And I have white gloves, and you pull these pages, and stuff's falling. It's old, but it's the history. And I have these Congress and Senate books, the original Congress Senate books of 1864-65, you guys. And it talks about the Naval Academy, of them having to extend, it's been voted on by the senators and by the Congress to expand 1,400 beds at their hospital because of the war. But looking at this, I've got really amazing books that are extremely, extremely rare. And how I came across a lot of this stuff, people pass away. Yeah. And they've had these collections forever. And so the family doesn't want it. And so they put them to auction, either eBay auction or they put them on live, auctions. And so I search all the time. And
I can picture when he won that little picture that Chris is like, so what's for dinner tomorrow night? And he's all, next year. Next year. We'll eat dinner again next year.
Because they get the bills, they go, what is this? I go, but it's for my grandkids. Your grandkids don't care. It
must be a typo. I don't know. It must be a typo.
Oh, my
gosh. It's not supposed to be that many zeros.
Oh, my gosh, you guys.
It's in pesos. What is the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice that I've ever received, and it's probably hard for me still today, and I try to do it as much as I can, shut your mouth and listen. Just shut your mouth and listen. And that's talkers. Obviously, you guys know we all are.
Oh, yeah, we are.
But the best advice literally has been just, Kevin, sit there and listen and just take in the information, take in what somebody has to say. And you'll learn a lot by just sitting there and listening. That was Harvey Hall. And I remember my CEOs at the hospital, just don't say anything and just listen. I remember Harvey telling me this. We were in a meeting with folks who were talking about the campaign. He says, I know you want to say something, but don't say anything, Brent. You guys don't say anything. Just take it and let's listen what they have to say. That then just evolved. And then when I went to the hospital and we're dealing with this big organization, we're dealing with, bringing in this multi-million-dollar cancer center and meeting with experts from MD Anderson, who is our consultants we brought in. If you're going to have the best cancer center, you better bring in the best in the world. And that was MD Anderson at the time out of Texas. And I remember being kicked a few times, just be quiet. Just let them talk and take it all in. I think today that's tough for me at times.
Oh, it is for all of us.
Says,
we always have something we want to say.
Says every wife to her husband.
God bless you.
I'll tell you, I've practiced that and it works. It works to just be quiet and listen.
Well, and I think one of the other, just another component, and I remember Harvey Hall telling me this when I won the election in 2002, when I went, he invited me to come to his office. He says, when you vote on that school board, because we were going through some tough times, that's when the budgets were getting really tough, vote from your heart. Don't vote on the party line. Don't vote on this. You vote from the heart. And that's what he did when he was on the college board of trustees. And I remember him telling me that, vote from the heart, because I would have some tough decisions. We got to lay, in March, you got to provide, you have to notify them that they're going to be possibly laid off. In May, you got to give them the pink slips. Oh. And guys, I tell you what, I had more stress on that school board during that time period. You had to lay people off. It's all over the state. About 04, 05, 06. It was miserable. You got teachers crying, you got kids crying, and it's packed house. And I said, gosh, I didn't sign up to be in a depression mode. But I remember, vote from the heart. And, we did it. We did. I voted from the heart, and there was ruffled some feathers on the school board, but I don't care. I didn't rubber stamp things. Yeah. And that's what I continue to do today, on our boards. So, but I appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Dude, appreciate you coming, man. I'm so stoked. It all worked out. So they were supposed to be interviewing somebody else, and somebody else couldn't. I'm like, I know who I want to interview. I get to pick.
Bert don't do it. He'll do anything.
Heck yeah, just another reason to see you. So again, I saw you yesterday. See you again tomorrow.
Yeah,
tonight. Tonight,
tomorrow, and Saturday.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, bud.
Brother.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kevin.
The show has been brought to you by the Law Office of Kyle Jones, Troy Burton with the Lynn Company, CPA John Duffield, Scott Hansen Real Estate Lender, broker and investor, Dave Plivlich, President and CEO of the Marcom Group and MarcomBranding.com, and Amanda DiGiacomo, President of Atlas Financial Solutions. You've been listening to the Our 2 Cents podcast. Check out the show notes for links and more information about the show. Also visit our website at our2centspodcast.com or catch us on Instagram at Our 2 Cents Podcasts. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share with others.